make up some lyrics for this.
Hello. You may not know us, but when we scream loud.
I like countdown clocks. Countdown clocks. Or so countdowny. And then like that. Here we go, counting down from 10 to 0. Now we're on 4 and 1. All right, there you go, everybody. There we go. How many? I don't even see the number. How many are? Oh, 7. All 7 of you. Thank you so much for coming on. Nordic and Charles have been pretty much chatting up a storm. They didn't. Well, I don't even know why we can get on here, Jeff, because they'll just fine by themselves. So you guys could have just gone, and Hexy and I could have, I don't know, taken our pills and gone to bed.
We're gonna. Yeah, I took my pills.
Don't go to bed yet. We just started.
I took 2 naps this afternoon after the terrible round of golf, and
oh no.
it was 2 people on a team. And the guy that I was playing, because my partner couldn't play, he had his handicap is an 18. So we were getting 20 shots. But I didn't play very good, and we ended up just shooting a 72. But minus 20, we shoot 52. I don't think we won because I think some of the older guys out there that have 12 and 15 handicaps each playing together, they were going to get 25 or 26. And so, Tolemikis, Chris Law, Pete, Hockey Pete. We changed your name, Pete, to Hockey Pete.
Paul, Chris, Pete, Tolemikis. It's good.
I sent him the invite if he wants to come shoot the breeze with us.
Who's that?
Alan, Camp Sawyer.
Oh, yeah. It was good seeing him on there. I think I was one of my trips. So, hey, it's good to be back in town. Been working on my room here. Oh, maybe I should just show everyone.
And Paul, don't miss Paul. Paul, how you doing?
Not going to be a great shot here, but
look at that hair. Oh,
there's a little stack of games that are being talked about here, possibly moving.
Are those miniatures in Airfix boxes?
Uh-huh.
Why haven't they gotten out here yet?
Wait, you want those?
Don't give them away. I mean, if you're going to do something with them, let me have them.
So this is what I'm doing here. I'm working on that closet. Got some shelves put up, and the other side.
Really cool. I like that.
And I got a little table there. So look, if someone wanted to paint, they could do that.
You got to get you, instead of that desk lamp, get you one of them bar lights up underneath that shelf.
Oh, Jeff, don't you worry.
Oh, already did it, huh? You should have took this one home with you that I have.
Let's see, where's the switch here?
Sweet.
A little magnet, so it just magnetizes right to the shelf.
That's even better.
Sorry, I got to get a handle on this.
Storage, nice.
Goes there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goes all the way up to the top, which is nice. So anyway, that's kind of something I've been working on to get a little bit more organized. So that's cool. Anyway, so a couple trips out of town, family stuff, work stuff. Helped my mom and her friend make some big money at a garage sale in Kansas. So thanks everybody for let me show you my stuff, my junk in my trunk.
Alan, I sent you the link if you want to come in and shoot the breeze with us, because that's really all we're going to do tonight. I think you play BCS, but
so my gaming has been pretty limited the last couple of weeks. I did play some ASL this week with Rich. He kicked my butt in St. Mariglee. My Ostrupen eventually broke. Some fun stories out of that, as usual. Hey, Scott, what's going on? So we just wanted so the big thing is we were just talking about getting back on here, kind of getting back in the swing of getting together as many Saturdays as we can. And Jeff has recently restarted playing BCS with the Inflection Point game that just came out. So
best system ever.
Well, okay. So we'll find out why. But so we thought, so Jeff's just kind of getting into it, kind of relearning the rules, getting them acquainted again. It's been a while, I think, since you've played, right? I mean,
yeah, it is. And it's, a lot, it's just like any game that you played 3 or 4 times. Some things will just pop right back in there, but the other things you got to, William, how you doing? Got to go remember how to do it.
Yeah.
And yet, look, and I'm going to say it again. I say it a lot of times. If you're not playing it right, don't freak the heck out. Just as you start to catch and adapt to the rules that you were getting wrong, you'll get better as it goes. Nobody can remember all of them. So,
and so he's getting back into it, playing it, and it's finally on the East Front for him. So now he's just really, freaking fangirling about it, fanboying about it. And I've always struggled with BCS, and I've had, so Rich, the guy who's he's not taught me ASL because I kind of knew some of the basics, but he's kind of patiently learning, teaching me ASL. So he's able to do that. He's tried teaching me BCS. I've had, I think Jeff's talked to me. We've played a little bit of BCS together. I've had someone else, I can't remember, someone else online. I've had someone else offer, and I meant to, and he's offered me every time we talk about BCS, he offers to teach it to me, and I'm always like, okay. Oh gosh, who is it? Anyway, and I've had at least 3 or 4 people play it with me, and I've just kind of been like, I'm not getting it. There's something just about it. Anyway, but I want to, mainly because Market Garden's coming.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that.
So Market Garden's coming, and I really want to play that. So
sure.
Anyway, and so, but that all said, so this is kind of a nice thing. There's new stuff coming out, so it's kind of exciting. But I did my ASL closet, it's over like on this shelf here. Hey, what's up, sir? Nice to meet you.
Hey there, Hexy. Hey, WARdROBE.
Nice to meet you.
Join us. You can listen to us just disintegrate our reputation with this system. So.
That's okay.
Yeah. I recently,
better than me.
I think maybe I'll just talk about that now, Jeff. Let me pull up the, I'm going to stop sharing that screen.
Pull up the old Vassal mod.
Well, so I recently proofed the magazine that's coming out. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen. I'm going to share, which you might think, well, Todd, you said you don't play, but I don't need to know.
Now let's clarify, okay? After this repetition of go rounds, you will have bought all the games again for the 3rd time.
But right now, I haven't bought anything. So don't get all saucy with me.
It's coming.
Don't get all saucy with me, son. Well, I'll tell you one thing: you can't find. There's a few you can't find, like literally can't find somewhere. Like maybe at Noble Knife for $450, but Camp hasn't sent me a big check for no reason, so I'm not going to buy it.
It was Scott that offered to play with you.
Oh, Scott. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Scott. Sorry that I had it. Anyway, all right. So here's the magazine that's coming out. I haven't really actually heard when that's supposed to come out. I thought it's supposed to come out this year, I believe. This is not, no one told me this. Anyway, so I offered to help proof it, and you might be like, well, Todd, but you don't play BCS. Well, you don't have to play to proof the way so I wasn't proofing the like rules accuracy, that I was proofing for consistency, understanding of what, was being said, consistency with the rules references, right? Like they said, and you go to 1.4 for movement, I would see if that was movement. That's all I did. And I was very clear about it. And that's one thing I've liked about proofing MMP stuff. I work with Scott over there, or not Scott. I think it is Scott, actually. Anyway, different Scott. He is very clear, like what he wants from people. Like I wasn't play testing. I was just proofing for accuracy and stuff. So I basically just went through and was reading, commas and grammar and stuff. And I just reached out to him to see if I could kind of get into a little bit of details. He did not get back to me today. Scott Blanton, that's his name. So I was going to tell you what articles are about, but basically it's kind of just a story of the journey of the game system by Carl Fung, and then Robert Dickey Van Tol, so RVT channel on YouTube, who's done a lot of great videos on BCS and many other game systems. Not the guy that played last Blitzkrieg and he played every turn, on video. Not that guy, but Rick Van Tol RVT does a great job. So he wrote most of the articles, and it did clear up some things, although I wasn't totally reading for comprehension, because I was reading for different purposes. But I was like, okay, there's some of this stuff they talk about here that are clearing some things up for me. I look forward to reading it again when it's all done. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, really 6 articles, and then a bunch of charts that they are using, that they are made, and some of the fans have made, and they get credit for those. So So just it seemed like I think it's going to be really good, pretty good price here, and it does come with a game, the Battle of Gela, which is this is the map. It's just a landing, which is pretty cool, and then you're just trying to get some of these in Sicily.
Sicily.
Yeah, so it's and you can see it's 3 turns. I think there were 3 or 4 scenarios or something, and so the rules for the game were in there.
Picture how that would play out, because BCS it's definitely. I mean, yeah, you've got all kinds of combat in it, but it's definitely it's a maneuver game. I mean,
for sure,
World War II GCACW in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this just is going to get you engaged in that. And it is kind of cool. So they give a lot of examples from like, okay, here's how you activate and here's why. And so the Robert does give like ideas like, here's what I would do. And he's not saying that's the best way or the only way. He's just saying there's something and showing you different options. So you do have options when you're coming in and landing, who you're going to activate for what, the Germans, who are they going to use to block stuff out? I mean, obviously it's limited choices, but I think that's kind of nice. I think part of the challenge with any big game system like this is when you're playing a game like Inflection Point and there's so many choices there, I think can kind of freeze you up a little bit as a new person. So I think it's going to be a real nice intro to the system. And as you can see, it's $40, which nowadays is pretty good. So
that's good. That's really good.
I think the information is pretty good in there. I mean, I think it's really good. So give it I would suggest ordering it, but a small game. So anyway, so that's something I did recently with BCS. I think Carl's running the system well. MMP does pretty well. Like I've proofed a lot of stuff. I've even tried playtesting, and there are people who handle that process better than others, and they do it pretty well. So that was that. So that's all I'll talk about that. And so I think what Jeff, what you're going to spend some time on, I'm going to pull up Inflection Point here. Jeff's going to kind of go through stuff he's remembering, challenges. I had some questions. He has a whiteboard he's made notes on. And then I guess maybe while I'm changing screens, Camp, what's your experience with BCS?
You're teaching me right now.
Okay.
I'm not do any World War II stuff.
Oh yeah. I've got
Panzer, yeah.
Yeah, I've got Panzer. I've got Simovich's games. I've played some of those. I haven't done any videos on those, but I've definitely played some of those, quite a bit of those. So it sounds like this is very similar. So you're teaching me WARdROBE.
Well, that's scary.
About this. This is interesting. I like the introduction to this, particularly Sicily, which is an area that's under gamed, I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know. It's still pretty fledgling too, in a sense.
The system?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as old as their other systems. So,
well, I mean, I don't know why you couldn't do more of Sicily, and maybe they will. I don't know. I mean, like I said, Market Garden has definitely been one they've talked about that they're working on. That's no surprise. I really wish they'd reprint Last Blitzkrieg, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's the one. So I haven't tackled. Started that with LBW, but that never got off the ground. And what's the other one? Late War, Hungary, or something like that. Panzer's Last Stand.
Oh, Panzer's Last Stand. Yeah,
I saw that one.
Yeah, and I think the reason I haven't touched that one is because they've got some really off the wall activation stuff in it. So I haven't really gotten to that one yet. But I mean, what were they thinking? Popping an East Front BCS for Hexy to play. So, I mean, Panzer's Last Stand, but the maneuverability in that one's not nearly what this one. And I haven't, and of course, if you look at this map, MMP is so good about this. You've got the SCS battles on the cheer, with the 11th Panzer.
Yeah.
So if this is too much for you, hey, go get a lot of people didn't like that game, and I don't get why you wouldn't like that game. I thought it was a wonderful game. So
what's up, Stacking?
Buddy?
Hey,
East Front BCS, great. So they waited too long, I think.
Real quick, they're also the two that they're definitely working on is Market Garden and France 40 in the Arras area and all around that area.
France 40, great.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Jeff and I all over that. And then Yeah, they talk again. I didn't get permission to talk, but they list a few other games. You've seen not Carl. Who else? Anyway, there's a really good on Board Game Geek. Oh hey, half-ass.
Hey, I do not have plans for that one. I'm sorry.
I am probably going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Because that's just down the road from me. That is literally less than an hour from me.
Well, then you have to go to that. That'd be awesome. And where is that generally? Is that Arizona?
No. It's outside of Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I was thinking of the Consim World.
Yep. It's a nice small, venue, but they play everything.
Real quick, Nordic, you said you heard something about the map. There was just the MMP logo was blurry on it, or the something, and it was not a big deal. That was the only
I got the original maps because they sent me my game so fast.
Yeah,
so I didn't bother to look at it. That wouldn't have bothered me. But hey, there you go. One more good notch in the belt for them.
Yeah. No, that was cool. They did that. Okay, let's get talking about. So we got the Vassal pulled up here. So Jeff, what have you been? What's going on? We can just ask questions. Yeah, and camp ask questions if you're curious about something.
Sure.
So the first thing is, I will say this would be a good system of playing Vassal, and to answer a comment that Nord made about all the counter stuff. This one would be a great one because when you hover over it, it's going to you're going to see the counter mix in the hex anyhow. So.
Oh yeah, I can zoom in a little bit. Let me make sure, Jeff, I'm centered in on your movement here, so that when you click on stuff, it'll go to you. Yeah, I got it on. So okay. Right. So remember, do that option thing and all that. So yeah, this is a pretty cool module, like GTS to me. It's like got some really cool stuff.
Right, and so I mean, we have my little pop-up windows, don't you? So you have to be the one that does that. So the box comes with the Kalash stuff, and then it comes with the Cheer River stuff. And I think we determined there's 3 scenarios on this one little small map for the Cheer. Correct. And the one we have set up is the one that I'm playing in the other room. I'm 3 turns into it over there. And I said it when I started playing it again. When I came back to playing this, I forget how fun this system is. And please don't get me wrong. I have not mastered this system, but they built depth into it that it can be a little confusing, but the depth is not, I don't think it's overbearing. And like I said at the beginning, don't freak out if you're missing a rule, not playing it right. Just like I say, you'll adapt to it as you learn the rule, and you boo-boo it a couple times. You'll start to get the hang of it, and you'll do it. And there's a ton of things in here that I don't like. I had to refresh myself with Safe Route. I had to refresh myself with engagement types, with support and stuff like that. And I'm going to go exactly with what Scott Rowland right there says. It is. This game is great.
Oh, really?
And right now, what do we got out there? We got OCS, we got EFS, which I love EFS. But when it comes to maneuver games, operational level games, I'm sorry, but I think BCS is the top of the totem pole for me. And I hope they just continue and make them, because I'm telling you what, you can do Russia to the hilt in BCS.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Tony and Nordic, you're right. Combat that. So the biggest thing that I struggle with, people talk about because they use some different terminology and a little bit silly stuff, crossing the streams, that kind of stuff. I get all that stuff. I get the blobs. I get all that stuff. Now, executing it is different, but just that concepts. What Nordic just talked about there is where I struggle with different engagement types, different AV types, and understanding what they were. I know you don't have to. It's just a game. But for me to kind of get stuff, it helps me to understand, like, why is something a red AV, a hard AV? Aren't all AVs hard? What are you talking about?
Right.
So that kind of thing. And maybe I'm putting a little too much thought into it. But that's why I thought it might be a little better to play with somebody initially anyway, to kind of help you understand, like, oh, yeah, you need to stop here because you have to engage me and blah, 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 whatever.
Zoom in right there, Todd.
Where's that? Okay.
Zoom in on that hex until we can see the units around it.
Those unassigned.
That's as big as I can get. I can.
All right, so
I can hover over them.
The first thing on my list that I got is unit types. May get them, may not get them all. I should probably open my book. And I don't they have. I mean, another good thing about this too, and you've actually pointed out a couple that I didn't realize, is the charts. I'd say they cover 95% of the game is covered in the charts. In one form or another, you can find your answer in the charts.
Yep.
Okay. So AV in this game stands for armor value. All right. And everybody, that should be pretty simple to understand what that means, the armor value. So tanks, probably, well, you're not going to have, you'll have TDs in this game, but in most cases, they're going to be in support. Okay. AV units, you've got real AV and you've got limited AV. So let's that where we're zoomed in right there. Matter of fact, I should probably zoom in so I can see what I'm talking about. So we were talking about hard AV and stuff like that. So we've got a good, perfect example right there. You've got the 159th from the 1st Tank Corps. All right. The red value is your real AV or your red AV. Okay. And then
3.
The
3.
Yeah, 3 or 5. All right. The 5 on the movement tells you that it's the tactical part of it.
Okay.
All right. And then, you've got, like you'll see with the infantry, they white on their white movement factor on their tactical side there that's leg movement. And then your wheel or truck type stuff will be a black number. So like a lot of these infantry units, I think when you flip them, no, not him. I know there's one in the 11th Panzer, which is not on the board yet. But some of like your recon units, they'll have black movement. And what's interesting about this is your leg movement on the roads and tracks in this game is a half movement point per hex. There you go. There's one. So that'd be truck or wheeled. And that's their move side or mobile side or something they call it in this game. I'm not sure off the top of my head what it is.
Kind of a limbered versus unlimbered type of thing.
Yeah. I'm on the truck or I'm not. Okay.
We'll just keep that guy there.
And when you're talking about the tanks, when they get on their move side, they're probably in a column, hauling ass, whereas they get in their tactical where maybe they're spread out in a V or in a line or something like that. All right, so the yellow in the background delineates that that's a hard. So that 159th tank is a hard red AV. All right, and he's also a dual because he's got the assault arrow, and then he's got that attack factor. Okay, that makes him a dual, which dual units in this game are very, very dangerous. That most of your combat effect will, your biggest ones are going to come out of those guys. Now you notice that KV1 unit, which I'm going to assume these are KV1s. I don't think it could be 150s or whatever, or maybe 2s. You notice they have a red and a yellow in their background. Okay, so obviously the yellow means they're hard, but these guys are a breakthrough type unit. So they get a benefit in shot combat or in when they're doing combat with units. All right, the breakthrough, they're tougher, and they're also, you notice they're not dual, but they're also, you look at when you're doing engagements with these guys. When you do an engagement, you're going to use the armor value, and you're going to use the what's it called, AR. So that's my book open.
Yeah, we may not get all the terminology. This is definitely not a teaching session, just kind of an understanding. So
right. So the black number underneath the NATO symbol is their assault, or is their I did it again.
Action
rating.
Okay.
So when you're doing firing type, like you're doing engagement type stuff, you're going to add both of those numbers together. So that 159th from the 1st Tank, when he's doing engagement against more armor, he's going to use that 3 and that 4. So he'll start with a 7. And engagement is really, really simple. So when you're moving along and you move into the zone of control or the engagement zone or whatever you want to call it, which do we have a standoff unit on here? Are there any 88s?
I'm looking.
I think there's 11th Panzer has an 88 that's in support. You'll have standoff units, and some units will have ranges on them, which increases. Yeah, think of a hard, just like Scott said, think of a hard as your typical tank, all right? And the others are more like your SPs and half tracks and trucks with guns or towed, stuff like that. So
pretty much combat's going to be engaged when they're next to each other, unless you got these standoff units that you mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. For the most part, right. And you'll get some of these games where the Tigers will have a range on them, and they can actually do fire events from range. At like they could shoot at
2 or 3
infantry.
hectares.
Yeah, from range, and the infantry cannot do anything back. Or
Nice.
maybe there's an AT gun or a TD that only has a range of 2, and they're out there at 3. Which was you
Yeah,
many
that's legit. Yeah.
documentaries on that. So
Yep. That's completely legit. Completely dangerous, but
yeah, yeah.
for the other guy.
Todd, it's probably the 11th Panzer is off the map in reinforcements right now.
Oh, okay. I'll look at it.
Yeah. So, okay, so these tanks will move in, or your armor, your AV units will move in, and when they get into the engagement zone, which is usually in most cases will be the zone of control, the 6 hexes surrounding. And by the way, zones of control in this game are not blocked by any terrain. At least I know for this one it's not. Terrain does not block it. Because you're talking weapons that could shoot at range. So
there you go.
Yeah, so there's a standoff type unit. He's not. I don't think he's classified real AV because his numbers are black. So, but those. Let me tell you something. In the desert game I played. I think the one in the later war. I pulled my 88s out of support, and they're not too bad. They're fairly effective, but they can also be effective in support, which we'll talk about support in a minute. But your AV units, when they move into engage, if they move into another AV type unit, you'll do an engagement attack where you're exchanging rounds with those tanks that you just moved into, and you might cause a loss. You might take a loss yourself, which I did a lot of that tonight over there playing before I come over here. Just 11th Panzer was on the go, and they were just rolling freaking snake eyes in 3 and 4. And even with a +2, they were taking losses and just nothing. Every unit has 2 fire events. So these tanks might roll in on another tank, and they can pop off 2 rounds at that tank. Now you're going to say to yourself, well, now that unit's done. They're not. You have a chart on your card that says finished and stopped. All right. So when you do your 2 fire events, you're going to be stopped. In a lot of cases, though, you can still do a regular attack after you've stopped and burnt your 2 fire events. All right. Shock. You also have shock combat, which a lot of your armor units and your assault units will do, your AV type units. If an AV unit pulls into the enemy zone of control of an infantry unit, you're going to go check that headquarters card, and you're going to see if they have support. Well, before they can get in there and mix it up with that infantry, they got to do an engagement to drop the support that's been assigned in that division out to the infantry. And how they do that, and I love how they do that in this game. Your support unit, do we have a card that has anything on it?
I didn't see any, but you could probably just make one up.
Okay, they got them beside the unit. So, all right. So, like, if you hover over, because my hovering's not going to show it.
Oh, yeah.
If you hover over that guy's got a support unit. All right. In this game here, for the Russians, your support units have to be, except for the one in the first tank, they have to be on the card with the headquarters card, whichever they call those things now. Okay. So what it is those are organic units that'll be on that card. And just because you've only got one unit on there, every one of the units in that division have that support available. So and most of the time you're going to see it's anti-tank guns, and you'll put those anti-tank guns out there. And then when an armor unit or an AV unit rolls into one of these infantry units, he's got to engage to drop that support, which is going to burn a fire event. And if he fails to drop that support, he's going to have to do it again. You've got to get that support down. Those anti-tank guns or whatever they got, you got to get that eliminated before you can deal with the units on the ground.
So real quick side note, listening to A Time for Trumpets today by Charles McDonald, and it was cool hearing both the German side and the American side. He'd say, like, I don't remember, so-and-so general, whatever colonel was thinking about where to put their support Stuarts or whatever, light tanks. So he moved a couple of them over to the Lee Scheifel, whatever. I'm going to mess up everything. But, just talked about moving their support. And I thought about BCS. I'm like, that's exactly what they're doing here.
Yeah.
But what's cool about it is they abstracted here. I don't have to send a tank down to the 365th because that could get to be a pain in the butt. I've highlighted all of that. So it's kind of cool. That supports all those yellow highlighted units there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's another plus to Vassal right there. And like I say, now, if you move in, let's say one of the German 11th Panzer units moves in and he engages one of those infantry units and he drops their support, it doesn't drop support from all the rest of them. Each one of those infantry divisions has that support available. So just think of it as, that support unit of anti-tank guns. Hell, it might be 60, 70 anti-tank guns in that support unit. We don't know. It could be a big, massive unit, and they're divvied out to all these. So I think that's a great, great abstract of putting support in the game. Now, mastering the support, it's pretty easy when you're looking at the charts for engagements and stuff like that, because it says it right on top of the combat activity. So, like if you get in there and you mix it up with an infantry unit that has support, you look right at the top of the combat table modifier, which I tell you, their tables are awesome. Okay. You look right at the top of the table, the common modifiers, and when it says common, that's for both sides. Defense and the attacker and the defender. Dual or appropriate support. And then it even has an asterisk for appropriate support types. For the attacker, it can only be red AV. And for the defender, it can be any type of AV. So, for instance, those 88s sitting down there, or those anti-tank guns, those are limited AV, but they are qualified support, which we'll call a die roll modifier in your combat. Steve-O, how you doing? Muzzle, how you? Richard, how you doing? Glad to see you guys on here. And everything is it's all going to be based off die roll modifiers. I mean, your engagement, or not your engagement, but you have your AV units can pull up on an infantry unit, and they can just shoot. They can do attack by fire on the infantry units. And it's just you just roll 1d6 and there's a chart for it. And the chart, well, why am I showing it when we have charts on here?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there charts in the Vassal?
Yeah, hold on. I have to pull it up.
Pull up the barrage table.
So is that other charts, major charts, SOP? Well, I'll just pull them all up.
Yeah. Major charts, probably.
So let's say, let me get rid of a couple of things here. Let me do major charts. It's kind of cool. Yeah, they included, Jeff was just looking. So Jeff hasn't really messed with the Vassal mod on this particular game yet, but he was just kind of learning it, so we don't know where everything is yet.
You just had it on there. Do the barrage chart. Yeah, it's on that one right there. Pull up barrage.
Oh, I see.
All right, so your barrage chart not only does it cover artillery, which we'll talk about that in a minute, but it also covers attack by fire. And look how simple that is. You've got 4 categories for the target on the left side to check, and then you roll a d6. It doesn't get any simpler than that, I don't think. And then, it's just, hey, we're going to take a loss. Okay. And your losses, if you look on any of the units, you'll see a number above their NATO symbol that's in a box. That's how many steps they got. And you put your little, what are those the rotating strength markers called? What's the name for them damn things?
Strength chits? I don't know.
Yeah, but they got a special name for them.
Oh, okay. Hey, real quick, someone asked, I don't know if this was answered. So basically the units in here are battalions, give or take, probably Russians. They probably call them corps or armies. I'm just kidding. But the scale is generally, hexes are about 1 kilometer, give or take.
Right.
Slightly over 1 mile. It kind of depends on the game that's being played. But most things are battalions. But anyway, that was a question asked earlier. So.
All right. And then, okay, and then the authors, so you'll see that on that leader, that the headquarters card right there, you see artillery points, you see fatigue level, you see prepared defense. So some units will have intrinsic or organic artillery, and that artillery is refreshed every turn. They might have 1, 2. I've seen games where some of them have 3 artillery points, and you can use those artillery points to either do a barrage, or you can use those artillery points as part of your attack, sort of like, aiding in your infantry assault.
Real quick. So the 3 number on this is the headquarters, correct?
Right.
And
then
okay, here.
Which one are you looking at there?
Oh, sorry.
Pull up, see the headquarters right below the card?
Oh, yeah.
See that little 2 on the right side over there?
With explosion?
That's the artillery, organic to the unit. And then you get artillery points that might come in as extra. and you can assign those artillery points to the headquarters or to the division. So he not only, can that guy, he can have 2, but now take that 1 artillery chit, stick it under his artillery points on the card.
Oh, like here.
Yeah. So now the 119th Rifle has 2 organic, and then they've got 1 additional that was assigned to them. Now here's the cool part. At the end of a turn, there's a phase in the sequence of play where you can say, "Oh, I'm going to unassign that artillery from that unit, and I'm going to end it moving up to another one." So you can move that artillery around. So that would be like, there's independent, which we know the Russians had mass amounts of them, especially late in the war, where they pick up and move units to different sectors to, be part of attacks and stuff like that. Well, that's what this thing gives you, is the ability to do that. Michael DePaul, how you doing, sir?
It's just
glad to see you on here.
Just reassigning your artillery.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You're reassigning. Be just like cannons, batteries, and sections in the Civil War game, just reassign somewhere else.
Hey, real quick, those things are just called steps. When I'm looking at the rules here,
the steps on
the little rotating numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. Is that
but there's a name for the chit. There's a funny name for it.
No, someone called it a rotation or something, but when I'm looking in the rules here, it just calls it a step.
Yeah, it's a step loss thing.
Step loss, 5 remaining, whatever.
But I remember asking that for line of battle because I didn't know what the hell they mean.
Gotcha.
Somebody give me the proper name for those rotating strength point markers. It's got some funny name. All right, and then you got fatigue. Fatigue will help. So, for any unit to get going, it's an alternating system. So whoever has the initiative, he'll go first, and then the other side will go after he does his activation. In order to get activated, you will roll what's called a snafu. Now, on your first activation, each rotary, that works too. I still say there's another weird ass name that somebody put out there a long time ago.
Jeff is not going to believe any of it. So, Michael, thank you. Scott, it doesn't matter. He's not going to believe anything that anyone tells him. So, but thanks for trying. You can all be right. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying.
You will roll a snafu when you a division can activate twice, in their phase. First activation, you don't have to roll a dice to activate them. They're automatically. And keep this in mind when you're playing this game. You cannot pass an activation. You have to activate somebody. So
interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to do anything because you can do a what's it called? A recovery. You can do a recovery activation. But if you choose to activate, then you're going to roll on the snafu table, which
I have pulled up here.
Great name for the table.
That's as big as I can get it, too, by the way. Sorry.
And you get modifiers, okay? You're going to get modifiers on the snafu table. Well, that fatigue marker that's on there is one of those modifiers. So whatever your fatigue is, so this game, much like GBACW, this game here will punish you if you let that fatigue go. Once a unit gets fatigue level 4, you're not doing anything. You're going to have to do recovery.
This guy's got 2 fatigue.
Yeah. So you're going to, and I think my 119th Rifle Division, that game over there, their first 2 turns, I didn't do anything with them. Matter of fact, I still haven't done anything with them. Now, once a unit goes, fatigues out from what they call fresh, which you get a +1 for being fresh, a unit can never recover fatigue beyond 0 back to fresh again. 0 is as high as they can go. So keep that in mind. All right. Yeah, so that'll punish you. Then you got prepared defense, where you're going to get modifiers because your units, you've had your units dig in, and it's very useful for like a lot of, which I don't understand why a lot of these Germans weren't in defensive posture already. I didn't see it in the rules that they should have already been in prepared defenses, but you'll get like a -1 modifier or something in combats and things like that. So there we go, Scott. That's the one we're going to go with. We're going to call it the GRCT. All right. So I could just go on and rattle. Let's modify up here. Let's go with, let's move on to, all right. Any questions before I bring up something else to talk about?
Did you talk about the difference between the 2 different kinds of artilleries, or did you?
Yeah, so you can do barrage or you can do an assist in combat. So right before you do, so if you got an infantry unit that's going to attack, you have a phase in the sequence of play for barrage, and you can either just do an artillery attack using the barrage chart, All right, as long as there's a unit there that can spot for them, which the spotting rules are not that difficult. They're not like other games that we play. And then you're going to roll your dice again, same as doing an attack by fire. Or you can apply the artillery to assist the infantry or a unit in their attack. And you'll see that on the charts, on the combat charts. You'll see where you can get those modifiers. And the combat charts are really, they're easy to read. You just go right down the list from top to bottom, and everything's good to go when you're doing that.
You got it pulled up.
All right, so I wonder why I can't see that over here on mine. That's weird. Oh, let me pull mine. Duh.
Yeah, I'll just read, so you got dual appropriate support, MSR blocked, marked. You'll be talking about MSRs here later. Objective zones, attacking formation as prep, defense, assist, attack from off map, shock contact, attack by fire. Defenders, prep, hexside terrain, defenders hex includes. Hard red, AV and open, AV unit and urban. So...
Right, and see they even category for you. Common modifiers apply to both sides. Yeah. Attacker only, defender only. Yep. And your combat table is right there to the right of it, and then there's your attack sequence right there on the card, which is not on. That's nice that it's in there because it's not on the game chart.
Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. I like when they do something like that, particularly for sub
routines.
Yeah.
Bottom right corner of the chart for inflection points. So, and here's another cool thing about the system. How long the 2.0 rules? I mean, this shows that this system is pretty steady and sturdy. I've had BCS now. I bought my first ones 5 years ago, and 2.0 has been the standard since.
Yeah, it has been pretty stable. It's pretty interesting how stable it's been, considering these systems go through a lot of changes, especially at the beginning.
And different models too.
Yeah, Scott mentioned something about version 1, something in there versus version 2, but I mean, they did make a few changes, but yeah, I don't know. It's been pretty stable, so that's cool. Let's see here. Hold on here. Let's see. Scott says something here
about the artillery there. Yeah.
One thing people struggle with is that you can only use one barrage point outside of combat unless you're playing BOT. Okay.
Because somebody's spotting that artillery.
Yeah, so, gotcha.
And then you can see on the chart right there, it says suppression mission. That's your one where you're assisting in the attack. And look, if you got infantry doing a regular attack and you apply an artillery point to a suppression mission, you're going to get a +2 on the die roll. So one of the things we talk about is when you roll your snafu is going to determine, and there's a chart for that too that actually Todd had to show me, where you can determine what your capabilities are pertaining to the snafu that you roll.
That's probably
start with the green box.
No.
With the green boxes.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. So all this stuff, who's got zones of control, blah blah blah. Hey, where is that thing? Oh, that's weird. I thought that would be like a top of the.
And this seems pretty basic, but there's a lot of intricacies with it
that
you got to watch out for.
Jeff, this chart here.
That's not it.
Oh, here we go again.
You want the hold on. You want the snafu result effects.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, look at all this. I mean, there's a lot here, which can be overwhelming, but
well, and a lot of those charts are just to, if you don't want to go back in and dig into the rules again.
Right.
A lot of these charts will help you find those quick answers. Like I said, the snafu effects thing, Todd had to point that out to me because I was trying to figure out our movements.
Oh, right there.
Yeah. So it'll tell you what your capabilities are with the snafu results. So the biggest thing right off the bat is you have objective markers. Okay. So if you roll a partial snafu, you're only going to be able to drop a single objective. You can't drop a double objective. If you roll a full, you can either drop 2 singles or you can drop 1 double. You want to drop that double if you can. So if you get a mass of units, enemy units that are in your front in a place where you want to break through, you want to drop that double objective marker because the objective marker covers a 2 hex radius. And anything in that 2 hex radius, all combat except for engagements has to be within that 2x radius of that objective marker. And you will get a +1 for any of the attacks that are done in there if it's a double objective. You won't get that if it's only a single objective. Then you have recon objectives. So when you have true reconnaissance units, and there's usually ranges on that. It's I think it's the line, it's sight, depending on what how far you can see with the weather and everything. Appropriate recon unit, which the scenarios will tell you, is if he's within that range, he can roll against his action rating, and then he can burn a fire event. He can drop an objective marker on his own for the rest of the formation. But it's only going to be a single. You can't drop a double off a recon unit. So, and it comes in handy because you need to have those objective markers. And then you also have, what are they called? Movement objectives, I think. I don't really use them because you can just drop an objective marker and you're moving to it. But they have movement objectives where you can set it on the map. Like if you got a unit that's got to move all the way across a big map, you can drop that movement objective marker on there. The thing is when you're done, this is kind of cool. When you're done with the first activation, you're going to remove traffic markers. You're going to remove your objective markers. You're going to remove all that stuff off the map. And then you may attempt to do your second activation, which you'll find in this game that the German armor formations, you got to roll a dice on the second activation marker. Todd, zoom in on a headquarters and flip it over.
For German?
It does. Yeah.
Any of them, I guess.
There you go. 11th Panzer in that stack. You got him right on top of that stack. And he's
so you activate him and then you flip it up. Oh. Hold on.
That's an 88. That's not a headquarters.
Oh, sorry. This guy here. Bloop.
Yeah. So there's the front side of a German formation. When you activate him the first time, you flip him over. All right. Oh,
that was the flip side. Okay. So
all right. So he's activated. You're doing your snafu, and now you know that unit is activated. All right. When you go to a second activation, he now has to roll a single 6-sided dice, and he's got to roll a 3 or higher to get a second activation. Okay. Which you'll find with the Russian units and some of the lower level German units, some of those are 5, some of those are 6s. And it's sometimes impossible to get them activated again. But if you're successful, or even if you fail the second activation, you'll flip the unit down. You'll turn him so that he's facing, they say turn him facing downwards. So you rotate him. Yeah, you rotate him down.
Yeah.
So that you know that he's already gone through both activations. Unless they have markers in this game that does it for you. So
yeah, they probably do. I'm just not seeing it. Oh, you could do done. There you go.
Oh yeah, you can do done, and he's done for the turn. And I think they have markers for done and stuff in some of the games. I don't know if all of them do or not. But the first couple of games I played, you didn't. I just flipped the marker so he's face down because there's no facing in this game like a lot of this stuff. Now your first activation, there's things you can do. Let's say we want to recover that fatigue on that one unit because he's at a 2. So first activation comes up. You don't have to roll for snafu or anything. You just say, hey, I'm doing a recovery activation. And then you have a chart called recovery or failure flip activation, which should be.
So what are you saying, Jeff? Sorry.
We're looking for the recovery or failure flip activations chart.
Okay.
Should be. Oh, I'm looking at mine. You're the one changing. I'm sitting here looking at mine like a dumb.
It's probably. And what's the chart called again?
Recovery / failure flip. It's in if you go to all charts, it's in the second row, all the way to the right. Now, just close them windows and just bring up the all charts window.
No, I don't.
Oh, you're on. I forgot you're on that.
Yeah, he's on a Mac. I don't think he's going to have the.
Yeah, I don't know what all charts is. You're talking
up top in your tabs. You don't have one that says all charts?
No, I've got SOP major other.
Really?
It's kind of weird that. Oh, there it is. I do see all charts. I'm sorry. All right, so I got all charts up.
All right. So Well, mine, it's going to be the second row. It's called recovery/failure flip.
Got it.
Okay. Open that one up because there's 2 levels to that. So, all right, let's say you attempt to do an activation and you fail. Your snafu fails. All right, you can go to a failure activation. If you're going to do a recovery activation, all right, you have to do that right off. You have to declare that, okay? And then you can go through those steps right there. This is how you can like, if I'm not even going to talk about coordination stuff because I don't run into that too often. You know, you're going to get your ghost trains. You can flip your combat train over. You can remove drop support markers. You can reduce fatigue by 1 level, which is mostly what I use it for. Apply isolation effects, and then you just jump right to J, and that unit is done because you cannot do a second activation if you choose to do a recovery activation. And like I say, what I find mostly for me for the recovery activation is to recover fatigue. All right, but let's say you fail your snafu roll, then you go right down and do a failure activation. Okay. Which you can flip your headquarters, you can do headquarters voluntary, or flip your units, you can do a headquarters voluntary retreat, you can do enter screen, you can move and flip your combat trains, you can remove drop support and traffic markers, you can apply isolation, and then boom, you jump right to step J. All right. If you're going to do a second activation, then if second activation, then you can go to step J. Okay. Second activations, like I say, with the elite units, yeah, it's I don't know, probably 70, 30, 60, 40, you're going to pull it off. But with your units where you got to roll a 5 or 6, it's not necessarily as easy. And then you just end up flipping the unit, they don't do nothing. But I do recommend that if you can swing it when you got units that are fatigued out, use that recovery activation to start recovering that fatigue right away. So I've got in my game the 119th rifle. I've got them back to 0 now. So which will help in their snafu roll. In a lot of these games too, like in this game here, the 11th Panzer Division, in this scenario, they're getting a +2 to their snafu right off the bat because they're an elite type unit. So if they're getting that and they're fresh, now you're getting a +1 for being fresh. And if your MSR, your supply route stuff is where it's supposed to be, you're going to get another +1 for that. So now they're getting +4 to their snafu roll. And a lot of times they're just rolling, you know, they're getting full activations. First Contact Gamer, how you doing? Evening to you, sir. Glad to see you here. All right.
Yes, that's what this is. Inflection point.
Yeah. Did we highlight? I mean, he says it right there. You know, it is, and the chrome in this game is what just like anything else I play. I'm constantly having to look in the rule book because I want to make sure I get things right. When you start checking things like, I think I finally got no safe path down or safe path down. MSR, I don't find MSR, the main supply route thing, to be as hard anymore as it used to be. So, right. We said that earlier, First Contact, that you can't, once you leave fresh, you can't go back to fresh. The best you can do is do that. So, yeah, okay. So, yeah, so the basics of sequence of play when you're getting into the unit is activate, initial activation, snafu roll, do your things. And remember, in this game, units move individually. Yes. That are on the headquarters card, they don't do any onboard movement or on map movement. They're with the headquarters at all times. Like I said, because they're deployed out to the units. So each unit moves individually. So you need to think about, like, if you're going to plan some attacks and you want to get assists on those attacks, that could cost you moving in one unit forward, and he really doesn't do anything. And then a sister unit moves along after them to conduct the attack, and now he's got a unit that's already there that can provide an assist and get you that modifier. Okay? So you have to plot out your movements, which I'm going to go back to GCACW, the same thing, where we had to pre-plan in order to get joint attacks or whatever we call it, to get those major attacks going on. You got to do the same in this game. Armor units on the move, the fire event thing is great because an infantry unit, when an infantry unit moves, he's not going to do any firing, so to speak, but he's going to do a regular attack. Well, once you do a regular attack, they're done. There's no more. There's not a second fire event they can do or nothing like that. They're done for that. Okay. Pretty much, I think they're finished actually. And there's another thing on the charts. You have a chart that says stopped, finished chart. You don't even have to open the book back up again to go look up the rules for that, because it tells you what you can't do and what you can do when you're stopped or when you're finished. And it tells you what makes you stopped or what makes you finished. All right. You'd be amazed, though, that when you're stopped, you can still attack. Even though you've burnt both your fire events, now you can still do a regular attack. So it works out pretty good. So typical sequence for the units when they're doing their activations is activate, snafu roll, do your thing, do your cleanup, determine if you're going to do a second activation or not, follow the same steps, except for you got to roll to see if they can activate. And then you're done. Next player goes. And then, of course, you've always got your end of turn stuff, and you got your pre-turn stuff to determine your replacements, determine your artillery, stuff like that. All right. Yeah. And then, your charts will tell you your die roll modifiers for terrain, key terrain, which there's not a ton of key terrain in this one here. There is a little bit of terrain in this game, but not a ton of key terrain. So
real quick, talking about pre-ordering MMP, do not pay it until they're ready to print it up and ship it. So you're not committing. You can even cancel it before they do it. So
yeah, I've noticed that the games they were talking about earlier, like the Brazen Chariots and
yeah, it's insane.
What's the other desert one? The lighter one?
Again, this is not official. Someone from MMP kind of said this, but this does not mean this is their final answer. But I asked about reprinting the last Blitzkrieg. In fact, I don't think this is an MMP person. They just said, yeah, they don't think they're reprinting that. I'm just like, man, how can you not reprint a Bulge game? I mean, but that's fine. It's a lot of money and they need new games out. So, but anyway, right. I don't run a game company thing. Praise the Lord. Yep. So yeah, when I was trying to hear and learning about this, I did think a lot about GCACW, just with the fatigue and the moving one at a time and supporting and that kind of stuff. And the sequencing is huge. It is in so many games, but it's pretty crazy. That's discussed in that magazine. They talk about Robert's articles. Do talk about thinking about who you're activating when and why and the order you do it in. But that's what's cool. Like Camp, you just said, it's like, it isn't that complicated. But then you look at a chart like I'm showing right now, it is complicated, but it isn't. Yeah. But it is.
There's details in there. It's good operational, as you said. Comparing it to GCACW, I'm seeing that. You've got to really think out and plan. You're sitting there as the operational leadership, trying to place these units appropriately, and you're getting hindered by the rules appropriately, because you're not going to be moving these battalions across rivers and everything at your whim. It's going to take time, and it's going to take effort, and of course you're going to have friction from your opponent and so forth and so on. So having that stuff in there makes it good and makes it a lot more detailed to get those effects.
Yeah. So, he mentioned friction and, the snafu roll gives you that and the ability or inability to reactivate. Jeff, talk about, I know this, you got your whiteboard and tell me if you want to talk about it later, but did you talk about blobs and MSRs? Two separate topics.
Yeah. Okay. So, first I want to, what Alan was just talking about there, so when we play GBACW, it's chit draw. All right. So the game turns, granted, are an hour long, but if you give a unit the potential of 4 activations, you break that 1 hour into 15-minute intervals. All right. And the fog of war in that game with the chit draw is this brigade on this side just happened to react faster than that brigade on the other side. All right. Whereas this game here is 1 turn is a full day. So it's, it's alternating play. And I know you remember that when I played the first 2 games, I did blind chit draw to do this, and it worked out okay. But then when I'm playing this one here, I'm doing alternating, and it's funny because I'm finding myself over there going, like tonight when I was over there playing, the Germans won the initiative, and the Russians won the initiative, and I was like, okay, 5th mech comes on this turn. Do I want to execute with them first, or do I want to cause more disruption with the first tank, or maybe pull first tank out because they were getting beat up pretty bad? And I mean, I'll tell you, it took me 15 minutes to determine what I wanted to do. And finally, I decided to bring 5th mech down because they come in at entry area B up top, and I shot them down in. I noticed that the Germans, I don't know why I didn't respond to this earlier, those 2 units way over on the left side of the map against the Cheer River, they're not against the Cheer River. And they're not in prepared defensive position. I said, oh, I need to get 5th mech across that river while I have the chance. So, and that's what I did. And Scott says it, sequencing of units, engagements, drops, you've got to think. You don't just say, okay, first tank corps is going, let's just start moving. You got to sit there and you got to brainstorm. Oh, do I need to move this unit first so that I can apply this effect with this next unit coming in? Oh, do I want to move the tanks down there and try to weaken that infantry with attacks by fire before I take infantry in there to assault them or regular attack them? You really got to brainstorm it out.
Well, Hexy, Jeff, I mean, looking at your example that you just said, where you wanted to shoot down the 5th Panzer down there to get across the river quickly with that. I mean, what else did you have to think about for that? I mean, in terms of what the defense looks like as well as your support.
Yeah. Okay. So granted, we can't see it in this one here, but my first tank corps, the Soviet First Tank Corps, or First Tank Army, whatever they are, they made them and the 333rd Rifle in this game here are what they call buddies. So they don't have to worry about their blobs or their MSRs crossing the stream or anything like that. So I busted through. I opened up the line with the 333rd, and the first tank busted through. Started to head for that Seoskin State Farm 79. They broke through down, and they got down there, but then 11th Panzer showed up. And they were stuck out there on their own, and 11th Panzer actually beat them up. Matter of fact, they eliminated 2 armor units right off the bat, which they recovered with replacements. It was only 1 each, but they recovered. And I thought to myself, man, do I need to jump on this with 5th mech, or do I need to get first tank back so they don't get? And I chose 5th mech, and sure enough, I paid for it. And the two units that got their replacements, 2 other units got smoked and chased away by 11th Panzer. So now my question now, did I put 11th Panzer in a bad situation now because they're done? But so that's though, and I mean, every game we play, we have to think certain things out as to what we're going to do. And this is just another one. And this one here tests my brain power a lot more than a lot of other games I play when it comes to that, because you really got to think. And that's why I say this is the best. I think this is still the best operational system out there. And as opposed to OCS, which, don't get me wrong, OCS is a fine system. You don't have half the clutter as far as counter stacks on this game, because you can put all your information markers for the most part on the headquarters cards, the division cards or whatever, except for your step losses and stuff like that. And I love the step loss system in this game, which most OCS games are like that, or most MMP games are like that anyhow. But yeah, I really had to think about that when I chose, now that I've realized that Kampfgruppe Stubfeld, I need to get them up against the river to slow down the crossings. That's when I realized, we're going with 5th mech and on their way across. So,
I've been clicking around and stuff. Someone asked about, Nordic just said you should play Todd and teach him like we did GB and some other systems, and we might do that. Tonight we didn't want to do that, but someone also asked about a live playthrough. They wanted some videos on it. I got to tell you, the best live, and it wasn't live. Where's my camera? Live playthrough was, and I put a link to it, was Tabletop's Edge. He plays the whole last Blitzkrieg game turn by turn. He explains every die roll. I mean, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that with Jeff and I playing live. You're going to get a bunch of bull crap. But right. It's a good video. Well, we'll give you a good time, but it's not. You're going to learn from his video, and then he
And
kind of backs
he
off.
he hasn't done another game since like that because that took so much.
First of all, playing the campaign of Last Blizzard Creek just by itself is a lot. Anyway, that we don't need to go into that. But that's the best live play you're going to see out there. Steve Dole just plays a lot. Check him out. His first couple turns, he struggles like I would. I'm not judging him on that. He just does. And then he gets going smooth. He's also very good because he plays a lot, talks a lot about what he's doing. Yeah. So anyway, that's just that.
MSRs.
Yeah. So what's that about?
All right. So your main supply routes. Okay. That is another key in this game here. So they talk about crossing the streams. I remember it took me a little while to figure this out. So the crossing the streams thing is going to be that line that you're using to determine is going to be between the headquarters and the supply train. Okay. If units are considered buddies in this game, you don't really have to worry about it. But you'll notice when you're playing these games, just by looking at the setups, you're going to notice that, gee, all the supply trains are on different roads. Okay. Spread out, which completely makes sense. Different supply routes. All right. So that you're not blocking another unit getting their supplies, which I'm sure happened. And your supply trains need to be on a road. They can be, if I remember right, they can be 1 hex off onto a track. But that's as far off a main road as they can go.
So
and
like
then
that?
you have, huh?
So like that?
Yeah, they can be, if I remember right. All right. I got to dig back in. Haven't had
Scott,
any problems.
let us know.
So, and you can trace your supply to the headquarters via the road and a track. All right. And your supply range to be optimal is 5 to 15 hexes. Okay. So you got a lot of leniency. Where you pay for it in this game is the command radius of your headquarters, because German armor is the best because a lot of those will have 12 hexes ranges, but a lot of these, Soviet ones will have 6 and, very minimal. So trying to keep all your units in command. Now, when units start moving and doing attacking, command radius doesn't really have much to do with that. So, yeah, and you can carry fully on a track. You're just going to get the penalty, all right, for that. So, and then you got the trafficability thing, which, weather-based and stuff like that. You might get a die roll if your stream is going down a track. You're going to get a penalty for your snafu roll, which every one of these I'm having that with this. I don't think anybody but maybe a couple of the German units, their MSRs go straight down a main road or a road, not a track. So you can use it. But one of the things that'll happen here is if your train gets jumped, because you're going to pick him up, and I haven't had to do it. I need to read the rules, but I think you pick him up and I want to say you've got to move him 10 hexes down a road. So, and then he's going to be ghosted. And once your MSR is sort of busted up, you're going to start paying penalties for that too. But the rules you don't physically move these things. You just pick them up and put them on the map for most things.
Really?
There's no, you don't have to.
They're just points.
Yeah, just pick him up and move him. In your headquarters, it could be the same way when a headquarters unit gets overrun, you pick him up and you move him. Yeah. All right. You just drop him somewhere else on the map. But it's not as easy as you think, because you got to think about where you're going to drop him. Right. Because now his units are going to be all out of command when you do that. So
now I presume weather will affect them even though they're on the roads, right?
Yeah, that's where the trafficability thing comes in.
Yeah. Okay.
On the road is fine. On a main road, well, they call them roads in this game, it's fine. But when they're tracing that supply route down a track, then you start paying the modifiers. Because, especially in Russia, because those tracks were just idiots.
Yeah, then you toss weather into the mix, and
yeah. And
you won't see anything for a month.
You've got poor trafficability and you've got good trafficability.
Okay.
And it doesn't even come into effect if you're on one of the major roads. So it doesn't even apply, at least not that I've seen in this one here. So keeping your supply, I don't even go to all the penalties because there are a lot of things. Another interesting thing in this game is your combat results. in the regular attacks or shocks and stuff like that, you have situational retreats and then you have retreat. Situational, a unit's going to just fall back 3 hexes, okay, and flip to his move side. No biggie. A retreat is a different story because you got a headquarters refuge. So if an infantry unit, a non-AV unit, gets a retreat result, he has to move. It has to be at least 3 hexes away from where he was when he was attacked, and you got to move him adjacent to his headquarters.
Oh, geez.
So if you can't do it, like I've got a lot of headquarters that are up too close right now, I wasn't paying attention. If you can't do that and be 3 hexes away and adjacent or in the same hex with the headquarters, you take him off the map, you put him on the turn track, 1 turn ahead, and he comes back on as a reinforcement.
Whoa. So this guy here. So wait, Jeff, this guy here.
Right.
He gets attacked. He's not Jeff. So this guy here, he gets attacked, boom, by an alarm guy. And
Right.
he has to do that. And he has to go towards this guy.
So if he gets a retreat result, not a situational, but an automatic or a what do they call it?
Oh.
A retreat on the chart.
Yeah.
You pick him up, flip him to his mobile side, and you got to put him up there adjacent to the headquarters.
Oh, I got you. Oh, I see. Retreat. So it's different than situational.
Right. Situational is just retreat 3 hexes.
I got you. I misunderstood you. Okay.
Right. And you don't have to, and you need to retreat towards your headquarters or your supply train. So
I got you. Okay.
And let me tell you, that creates a nightmare. That makes a mess. But the cool thing about it is, like in GBACW, we have to roll for disorder to recover. Well, when these units are flipped, they're just flipped to their move side. When their next activation starts, you can just flip them right back over, Where the penalty is on your move side and your tactical side is your AR, your action rating.
Yeah, so that guy's a 3 there on his move side. He's a 2.
Yeah. And, and which is like OCS. Oh, Ross is in Boston. That's right. He just messaged me. So
that's more important than being on with us.
Yeah, really, Ross.
That's interesting. Okay.
The turns don't, when you activate one of these divisions, believe me, it doesn't take very long. I mean, you think out what you're going to do and you're using the charts. And I'm going to tell you something, the combat on this stuff, yes, the combat's the easiest part. Doing the engagements is where you got to catch yourself. Like, I don't know how many times I've rolled up on a infantry unit with an AB and I just start doing attack by fire. And then, oh shit, he's got support. He's going anti-tank support.
Yeah. That's something to think about also in the sequencing of events, how you want to do that. Like some tanks up there. It's really modeled. It seems to model combined arms pretty well.
Yeah. Thank you. And I remember RBT talking about that. Matter of fact, RBT I heard him the other night. He's talking about doing some more detailed analysis and study videos for BCS.
Do you know that if there's AT with a unit that you're about to roll up on?
Yeah, so pull up a division card, Todd.
A division card. Yeah, just a second. Let me get it. All right.
Remember we were talking about support units, Alan?
Yeah. No, I saw the support, but do you actually, as the opponent, do you see that as you're rolling up on it?
You know what? I don't know if that's a hidden thing or not. That's a good question. If you're playing opposed.
Yeah, he's used to playing.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if you're allowed.
That would be pretty dramatic. All of a sudden you're rolling up a whole bunch of tanks, and all of a sudden you got 88s facing you down.
First context is not hidden. I don't remember seeing anything about that.
Okay.
So you'll have the support units will be on that card right
That might be a little bit. If that's kind of depends on your opponent type of stuff. Like I don't know if that's an official rule or a. It's a good question.
Well, and I'm wondering if that's the where they talk about real AV.
No, real AV is actually having the AV on board, I believe. Scott will pop on and tell us.
That's what I'm saying. The real AV is when the unit's sitting on the map, and it's not real AV if it's in support status.
Okay, hold on.
Okay,
first context. First context is it's not hidden.
Not hidden. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty dramatic. All of a sudden, oh, here's 88s and just wipes out your attack.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you get those 88s in standoff. Now all of a sudden that engagement zone is 2 hexes out. That armor unit's not even going to close. These armor units that don't have a range, they're not even going to get a chance to close on the infantry unit they're trying to get to because those 88s are sitting at standoff distance. So
yeah,
what's going to stop and put them in check? You got to have to engage from there. Those 88s can be pretty lethal if you use them right.
So Jeff, I'm looking at this 11th Panzer Division right now, and I've got one counter. Well, hold on, let me try something again here. Let's get everybody in the stack here so I can look at everybody. So when 11th Panzer comes on, I got the headquarters, and I've got one support unit, and then I got the rest of the units in my supply train.
Right.
Can I put anything in support, or only the things that say support?
You can have multiple support units on one division card.
So I could put I could put one of these tank units in support, yes or no?
Yeah, you can. Well, I don't know specifics for this one, but I'm trying to think. Was it Brazen Chariots? Where I remember learning about that, where you could actually take an armored unit, a tank unit, and place it as support. Okay. And then you put it on the card as a support unit. Yeah. And it's an AV unit, so.
Yeah, okay. So support has to be on there. So support is not one of those things that you can bring off and make it a real AV.
No, not true. Now, in this scenario here, all Russian support units, except for that one the 1st Tank Corps has, 1st Tank Corps Army or whatever it is, they have theirs on the map, but it says in the scenario rules that all Russian support units have to be on their headquarters.
Mm.
And Scott's happens in the assignment phase, and there is a chart for that.
Yep. But you can have support units in the other games that I've played that and they'll tell you in the scenario rules if a unit is support on the card all the time, or that's the only way it can be used.
Okay.
Or it can be off. Because I remember, like I said, I had my 88s in Brazen Chariots. I had them off on the ground on their own. Well, let me tell you something. These anti-tank units, these support anti-tank unit stuff, you want them on that card because it gives those infantry units, it's going to give them a -1.
Hmm.
And it might allow them to stall that armor that's trying to run over top of them.
No, makes perfect sense as you said, combined arms.
Yeah, well, and it says in this one here, it says it has, in this scenario here, it says all the Russian ones, it says all Russian support units have to be on the card.
Okay.
But you got a German one. Well, see, in that 1st Tank Army one, when you go to look at the setup, see that AT right there. Well, he might be on that. No, because the 1st Tank Headquarters is down here. And I noticed that too in my setup, that he was on the map. Oh, he doesn't say support. Rob, so I see what you're saying, First Contact. I got you. But like I say, you could take it had to be Brazen Chariots because I never played the last Blitzkrieg all the way through, and I never touched Panzer's Last Stand. Where you could pick up an armored unit, a tank unit, you could put it into a support mode. I need to like I say, it's been maybe 2 years since I think I've gone down the BCS road, and because I remember I wanted to just play through all the games, and that goes. Squirrel. Something else comes up.
I'm only going to play BCS. Oh, yeah. Wait.
Squirrel.
Oh, wait, there's a sale.
Yeah. Where'd this come from? That's a pretty game.
I'm a huge 100 Years War guy now.
Well, wait a minute. They just shipped a P500.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Right. Thank you. First Contact. That's
This is all that. Jeff, what was I was going through the charts here? Let me look through here. What was I saying? I mean, so this just all these charts just shows me you're gonna get a lot of stuff wrong. You're not gonna play it right, and I think that's what I need to do. I think Hexy's right. I need to, or not Hexy. Nordic said we need to play against each other. I need to play my local guy here who's can teach me to, and just play it wrong, get crushed, and just learn okay. So then that's when you do that. That's how you do that. just like we were doing with GCACW, like you and I were just attacking all the time. Like, no, you kind of need to take like 2 or 3 turns to prep your attack and get it all close assault, not close assault, but grand assault. And I think that's something with this game too. You want to get in there and start fighting. It's like, well, think about what you're going to do in the like turn 3 and not turn 1. What's going to happen in turn 3 when you're stretched too thin?
Yeah. See, when I started this scenario over there, my first thoughts were, okay, I saw where the bulk of my force was and the 2 buddy units. So it made sense to me that I would push, and I decided, okay, let's go take this.
Yeah.
And then we can encircle and cut off all the the camp group of Stuffeld units up there.
Yeah, I mean, the Germans look pretty weak right here. Like, well, to me, they look really weak right here.
Yeah, well, the problem with that whole thing was that 11th Panzer pops on down here.
Right.
And I remember listening to somebody who's played this talking about, and it's true. I mean, this is what they did in the Cheer River operation, is they just run amok behind lines.
Amen, brother.
Popping Soviet units, just trashing Soviet units. So I remember somebody saying that in a comment about their play that, the 11th Panzer running around back here just trashing shit. And they're good. I mean, let me tell you something. The German Panzer divisions, in everything that I've played, BCS wise, and I think every game they got after, I can't tell you about Panzer's Last Stand, but these guys are elite. And they raise a lot of hell. They're far better than most of the Soviet armored formations.
Yeah.
They're far more efficient. Their action ratings are always better. And they have a lot stronger and a lot more of dual units in those divisions.
That makes sense historically.
Yeah. Much more efficient. Putting an AV unit in support is a good way to keep it. Yeah, good point, Scott. Good point. Because I remember putting I put a Tiger unit in support for some strange reason. It's been 2 years, so I can't remember.
Yeah, Jeff, let me ask you this with support. What would be a reason not to put it in support?
Well, the only ones that I can think of were the 88s, pulling them out because of that range.
Oh, gotcha.
But,
because they can't use the range.
Well, offensively, they couldn't.
Okay.
And I thought, man, I can use these. Why can't I use these offensively? And I think I went for a couple turns and I realized, you know what? These guys are better off in support, in standoff in support of units. So.
Because that's what I'm kind of hearing is like support is going to help everybody in the unit. So just stick them in there, and then they're just kind of piecemealed out and help provide, the support.
Which is, I mean, what a great abstraction for,
Yeah.
Now you don't have to account. Now you got a game map because you know damn well that these units, if they'd have put everything in these units, these divisions as counters, come on, you'd have freaking truck units, you'd have separate anti-tank units out there in sections or, whatever, all over the place. But then how would you, if these are battalion-sized units here, in your division, say they only have 3 battalions of AT gun, well, it makes sense to not have them as 3 counters because now you're only going to put them with 3 units.
Right.
When damn well they said, hey, give me this platoon of your anti-tank guns and let's put them over here with. So this abstraction for support, I think, is phenomenal for the system.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in other games. Actually, I'm thinking about it now with some of the stuff I'm reading on ACW, pulling that back in here a minute, and how the Union artillery went back and forth with that type of a maneuver. Parsing out the guns and then pulling them back.
Right.
With it there too. So this would be an interesting mechanic to implement into something like that.
Right. That's what I was talking about here with Scott here. The offensive ability's gone. So it's when you put them in sports. So that's why I thought I would try it by pulling them out. But like I said, it never really did anything for me. So put them back in sport, with the units. And let's see, lines. Yeah, here we go. There was Joey's talking right there.
Jeff, I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yep.
I'll be right back. But keep going.
So they would just raise hell behind the lines and just knock out units. So I don't you know, I don't know boatloads and stuff about Stalingrad other than they got there, they got cut off. Paulus ended up surrendering. I know that von Manstein tried to attack in to relieve, and he just did not have enough firepower, enough ass. And I think the weather was pretty bad. And I don't know as much about this. I think the only thing I know is that I can't remember what the operation name was, but when they started this, the Russians started on both sides of Stalingrad, and Kalash was the meeting point, I guess, to where they finally cut off Paulus and the 6th Army.
Yep.
And when I saw the title for this game, I didn't even realize it when they first put it out until I started reading about it, that this was about that operation to close around Kalash. And the only game I've played that represent that was the SCS Stalingrad game, which that is really what it is. And then I remember getting the SCS 11th Panzer on the Cheer, and it took me a little while to realize that was about all of this, which I still think is one of the better SCS games. I think Rostov's still the best one out there, but I don't know as much about this. I think, I think the thing that always reaches out to me the most about East Front, because I never really read any books on it, is that, again, it's maneuverability. You didn't have that. I mean, you had it during 1940 with the Germans blitzing across France and whatnot, but you don't really have that other than, I guess, was it Cobra or whatever, where Patton's breaking out?
Oh, in Western?
Yeah. You don't have that wide open landscape like, what was a 1,600-mile front? Oh yeah, I mean, you started Barbarossa. I mean,
I don't think we can comprehend it here in the West, unless you really study it,
right?
To know how big and how vast, these battles were, and how sweeping it was.
So you guys out there in chat, man, what was the name? Was it Uranus? What was the operation that started this encirclement of Stalingrad by the Russians?
That's a good point. I can't remember. I used to know this stuff, but
I just don't know it. I mean,
away.
I just know that the Germans, Barbarossa. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Barbarossa. They went on. The first year was pretty good. Then I guess Hitler decided to change their operational status right towards the end of the first year with the Moscow and deflecting units to this side or that side, and then coming back to try to take Moscow. I know that Barbarossa was supposed to start sooner, but because Mussolini decided to take another country and couldn't do it,
Yugoslavia.
And then, once, I remember watching all the tick stuff on YouTube about Case Blue all the way across to Stalingrad, and the Germans were on the move there, they were quite efficient. But once they got there, it just disintegrated.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the vastness of it. Talk about supply and everything else. And I just don't think you can fathom, the depth that you have to go and the supply that you have to get, because you still got to realize these guys are still, even though they had half tracks and trucks and, mechanical stuff, their supply was still horse and cart in a lot of places. So, it was a long way to get things moving.
Yeah. Also, you talk about, I know they talked about, no, Nord, didn't I send that? No, I traded that off. Okay. Let's just get this out of the way right now. The Simonich 4X games are great. All right. But there's only about 3 of them that I really care for. So, and I think I've got 5 of them still over there. So I'm just not, I don't know, that Zokbomb stuff. That's why when they did the second Ardennes game for SCS, I gave it to McMurray to take home with him because I think the first one was better. I didn't enjoy, I played that second one through as far as I could. I did not enjoy that game. So
which one was that?
The Ardennes game.
Oh, the Ardennes one. Yeah. Yep.
Ardennes too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show the whole game. This is
Which one is this collage?
This is the full campaign.
I think it's only 2 maps, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So where were we? We were
Right there in that bubble there.
down here, right?
Yep, right there from where that big yellow terrain is, that orange terrain, just barely above it, and then south.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just down in where those units are. So that's pretty cool though. But what's cool about this one as opposed to when actually some of the desert ones too, is the terrain's pretty open, as opposed to like the last Blitzkrieg, which was all woods and stuff. So that part, you don't have to think a whole lot about that part. I mean, there's things you have to think about. But yeah, Scott, I've heard about the Operation Cobra. Yeah, they don't have. I don't. There are a couple other East fronts out there. I think that they're working on. I'm just not sure what's been talked about and what hasn't been. But yeah, we mentioned at the beginning, because we have a bunch of people that maybe weren't here right at the beginning. Market Garden and France 40 around the Eris area, probably an area like this. I think it's probably a couple maps. I don't know how big it is. So those are the 2 games that have really been working on a lot. I don't know which one will be next, but and they got a couple other East fronts I think working on.
Love that East front stuff.
I think. Yeah.
My problem is if they decide to go back and making these big counter versions of BCS, I probably won't buy them.
Yeah, but they only did that on AirCore. They're just doing that on the.
Not like that AirCore at all. I don't know why that bothered me.
What are they?
I don't know, because I'm playing the Black Swan. Those are big counters. I love that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the big counters. It was just something different. I don't know. Hexy had some rash or something. He's got some disease.
To World War II big counter games. The Aachen game that I gave you to play that you fell in love with and then brought it back to me, crossing the wall or something like that. Those are bigger counters, and that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think maybe just the battle didn't catch you.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's I don't know. And I still got it. Well, you brought it back to me, so I'm Todd's long distance storage facility when he doesn't want to.
Yeah, McMurray's my local. So I mean, here's all the reinforcements coming up for the Germans in the full game, and it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff coming on.
Yeah. Well, Nord, he's already. The maps are already there. Are you serious, Scott?
Well, I don't know. I didn't see the game itself, but it's not surprising to me because it's a magazine game. It's just a small map.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter because you're not mixing.
Well, see, but I'm trying to comprehend how the mobility part of this system is going to work on those maps. I mean, I was skeptical when I set this one up first, and I realized it's 8, 9 units formations. Yeah, Contact. I will give them credit that they at least employed a screen mechanic for this game. Does it do what it's? I mean, it had an effect in my Brazen Chariots game for keeping the Brits from blowing in too fast. Yeah, like I say, Nord, he's already. I mean, the maps are already there, so. It wouldn't take much more to do it. EFS is a great system.
Yeah, just a lot of maps that you need a lot of space.
Yep. If you're going to try to set up the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, because I tried Crimea way back in the day, and I was like, I can't even get 2 maps on the table.
Looks like you and Joey need to get together and go bowling.
Joey and I started to play the Light Scenario in Case Blue, and after his fucking first movements on me, I cried and quit. I'll never play him. He's too sharp. That was OCS.
We don't like to play against good people.
And then I sold my Case Blue after that. I sold it to Hissy Cat.
Anybody in the chat's welcome to help Hanger flying out. He's all for that. Hey, First Contact, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, I appreciate you chiming in. You had some good insight. Thank you, sir.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yep. Good stuff.
Foot hanger. There you go.
You played North Africa 41, Todd, didn't you? You played MMPs.
I did MMPs, and I don't think I ever ordered that one. I think I had it and canceled it just because I wasn't sure. I think it could be an interesting one.
It's a little odd from what I've seen. I haven't played it yet. I have it, but I haven't played it yet. But I know somebody who has, and I've talked with them and actually saw their write-up on it. And there's some different mechanics in there that make it different, I'll say. There's a bit more movement, and there's a bit more, being the desert, of course, there's more movement and kind of like you were talking about, continued movement that was introduced in there as well.
Right.
Well, Kev did a bunch of play stuff on North Africa 41. And I think he still plays it on Apple with a buddy of his.
Yeah.
So he seems to I've got it over there, and it'd be nice. I'm telling you, man, I'm getting to the point now. Like I've still got. Okay, so I'm about done with Shiloh. I've got one more turn here with this one I got to do, and I think this one's going to be a pretty much a Confederate blowout because the 6th Division is gone. They've disintegrated.
You think so? I watched that today. It was like, is there anything blue left?
Yeah, I got to watch your last one too. You did. Maybe I'll pop that home in the morning. But this will be done. One more turn of this. I'm still amazed I actually sat here and played. That was 49 minutes to play that turn. Live. Yeah. Graham, what's up, buddy? Achilles, are you all done over with Jim? Because I saw you all were live earlier, I think, playing some more Napoleon stuff. That's fun. If you guys get over there and watch Jim Swarsky's channel, because these guys are almost every night they're playing something in Tabletop Simulator that's
they're good stuff.
It's kind of fun. And if you really want to laugh, just watch Achilles roll dice. I always get a kick out of that. So, but
yeah, maybe we should have Achilles on the Place Against Games, Jeff.
Get him to come roll dice for us.
Yeah,
I get a kick out of watching that. But so I got one more turn of Shiloh. I've got 2.5 turns of the BCS game over there, and I made a promise. I'm going to do it if it kills me. Gettysburg 77 is going to get played. It will be on a table and going before this year is out, but I'm going to be using the newer rules that the guys created, and I'll probably be using Ulan's maps because they're much easier to look at. Of course, the original 77, that's a pretty map board, but I'll probably use that map because it's a little easier for me to deal with. But I'm going to play it. I promised I would. I'm going to give it another go round, and then I just don't know what I want to. I mean, let's put it this way. Hopefully, and I hope I don't burn myself out, 3 Dog Pop.
Yeah.
November would be nice. I tell you what I think is going to happen before. I think that Line of Battle Wilderness is all of a sudden, oh, hey, guess what? It's ready. We're charging you all. Here it comes.
No, that's funny.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but I will tell you this. I stand over there in my room now a lot more, and I'm like, okay, Jeff, let's start separating here stuff you're actually going to play, stuff that you want to keep, you want to maintain. And I see you looking up, Camp. Don't even. So it's obvious my GBACW, all right? My GCACW is going to stay. My BCS is going to stay. No doubt about that. And then there's some odds and ends games off the chart, that are maybe single version games or something like that. My library of Napoleonics, those are the ones that I have will stay probably because I want to play them some more. OCS, quite frankly, the only one over there that if you told me, all right, they got to go, what are you going to keep? Blitzkrieg Legend is the only one for sure that I'm keeping. So I don't know. Those are games I should probably play on Vassal, but I'm still not convinced on Line of Battle after my Gettysburg play. Is it fun? Yeah, it's okay. It's fun, but that game just doesn't give me the realism, the effects of that. Chris Nangoya.
Well,
Chris, what's up, buddy?
I think you got to wait for 3 Dog Deluxe to come in. That's just tips you over the edge.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so scared that I'm going to start Gettysburg 77, and it's going to take a while.
I'll throw a prediction. I'll throw a prediction out. I'm saying
right.
January. I'm saying January before we see it.
You think?
Yep.
And then Stepping in the Hill is right behind it.
Yep.
Not to mention the other 800 freaking boxes of GBACW stuff they're working on. Plus Herman Lutman. You know, I told y'all the other day I just had a brain cramp or something went through, or a thought went through my head. And I was like, huh. And I messaged Herman. I said, Herman, since you're going to be doing an Antietam game, are you going to go to the battlefield? And he was like, yeah, I'm already scheduling today's. And he goes, wait a minute. He says, where are you at? I said, I'm 15 minutes from there. But he's going to try to give me the dates. I said, I'd love to spend a day on the battlefield with him. And then he's like, well, what about golf? I'm like, well, we can probably do that too. As long as it ain't in the middle of winter in West Virginia. So, you know.
Golf and war games, you got Hexy's number.
Antietam, buddy. That would be, you know, I know that, you know, we know he's test playing Leipzig already. He's already got components for that one in Black Swan. He wants to do Saratoga because they were trying to find a revolutionary game that is big enough to be accomplished by Black Swan. So Saratoga was it.
That's probably a good one.
I think he is, because Rocket Chickamauga and A Most Fearful Sacrifice were so successful that I think Antietam is going to overrule, and he's going to, you know, that's one easy to collect. So
I get Antietam out first too. That's gonna be better. Saratoga will be good. I mean, from looking at a Revolutionary War perspective, that would fit a Black Swan very, very, very well.
And while I don't like Revolution, I would buy that one. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is definitely a good one because it's big enough scale to fit in on it. So that's all good. In fact, I'm going to try to get over there, I should say. Hopefully this fall, if not spring.
Over here?
Saratoga. No, Saratoga.
Yeah.
That's not far from me. It's not 15 minutes like you are, but it's only an hour 15 from me.
Right. Well, Nord, the game is already there and in the process because I've done a little test playing with it. I know others have for the Antietam game. So
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, Camp's doing it. I haven't been able to touch mine. Yep, Tim, I agree. ROC is a very well done game. It's so nice that we have all these different systems that we can tap into for ACW. It's freaking awesome. I wish somebody would go down the road with the Napoleonics, because we have a lot of, we have Labatai, all right, which I think the thing that shoots me in the foot about Labatai, and I still got my games, Todd was kind enough to buy me Ligny, is what, 47 different rule sets to choose from? And nobody can tell me, hey, Jeff, use this. This is the one you need to use. And I think if somebody would do that, I would probably get on my way. Mark, how you doing, sir? There you go. See that? And I can't say nothing. But I can say that, Mark's kind enough to let me test play, and I'm into that. I'm into an actual maneuver scenario in his latest one that's getting ready to come out. So
nice to have a Mark on here with us. Thank you, sir. Awesome.
Oh, so okay, I get it, Mark. I see what you're saying. So it's going to be the scale with the Rebel Fury type stuff, and that's good. I got some interesting things that I'm going to say about that system when I'm allowed to, because there's something I did notice that actually works really well for me that I didn't realize. So
here's a question from a hanger. It's about talking about an Antietam game. I toured the battlefield, but I don't remember all that stuff.
We probably can't, unless he's talking about Marks. Oh, I can talk Army of the Potomac. Mark, let me ask you a question, because this is chewing me up. Can I shoot video? Because I'd really like to do that so that I can discuss what it is I'm doing. So if you tell me I can shoot video, that'll be the next thing I do.
Yeah, Achilles, I think that would be a good one. To me, that's what, it's not even close to the same thing, but that's what this system, to me, that's what this system does, but it's not GCACW. But
It's different. It's what similar, but different.
Similar scale, I guess.
Oh, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Thank you so much because I've been chomping at the bit because there's some things I want to bring out that.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's moving forward.
Because it struck me the other night. I was like, huh, I didn't see this one coming.
Hanger, I don't know if we can answer that question for you. Maybe Mark could. How?
Now, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about Mark's future on that, or are you talking about the GBACW one, Hanger? Oh, I know Hanger's name, but I haven't seen him in a while. I can't remember it now. Yeah, anyhow, Nord, that's where I was going. We got Labatai, but I wish somebody would give us yeah, okay, so it's easy to say this because it's coming from the perspective of a system that I know how to play, that I would love to see the Napoleonic battles in that system. It's easy to say that.
So I thought, I mean, haven't we seen a few systems come out lately for the allow and some other stuff, kind of like Labatai and that one from Lock and Load and all that, or is it just
speaking of that?
Not enough yet.
I just saw a post from On Battles, which is Terry Doherty, who did the Victory and Empires, Glory and Empire
for Lock and Load, yeah.
Yeah. And I saw it. It's on his Facebook page that his next game in that system, he's going to publish it himself.
Oh, moving from Lock and Load.
That's the system.
I mean, if you understood the post, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean it was pretty clear.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay,
that is.
I mean, you liked that generally, didn't you, Jeff?
It's a good game.
I haven't heard much. I don't see. I mean, I probably wouldn't pop up on my feeds much, but I haven't seen very many people playing that. At least you know, my viewing is limited to YouTube, so.
It's who is playing it right now that was questioning me? Oh, Stigler. I had about an hour and a half phone call with him a couple weeks back about some rules.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it is very good. It's very detailed. Terry has obvious. I mean, Terry was a big hand in the Labatai system. So,
well, yeah, that's why I was hoping. I get not hoping because I probably wasn't going to play it, but I thought he might bring the detail with some simplicities in it.
Well, isn't that what it has with the 3 versions?
Yeah, the one, yeah, with the soldier, brigade, or battalion, and or whatever. It's a good system. I've got 2 copies of it here. One was the original test play copy that Jester sent me because he was going to play it, and then I got my copy of it. It's a very good game. It's very light in what's you're seeing on the board and the map board and everything, and it's larger counters. But the system is very good, and it's kind of cool that it has 3 steps. So, hey, Eric, how you doing, buddy? But
you say Napoleonics 3 times, Eric shows up.
Yeah,
and we did.
I knew we had 3 games in the works. So, and one of them obviously was going to be Waterloo, but I hadn't heard nothing in a while, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next thing he's creating. So. Hanger, I will now that Mark has allowed me to do it, I will maybe I don't know, maybe I can do something tomorrow. Hopefully, give me a few days and I'll shoot some video on the new Army of the Potomac. And we'll try to get y'all some feedback on that because I have some interesting things about that I want to talk about that struck me here recently. It's different.
Be interesting to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, it's kind of I found it kind of like a precursor to something that else that's out there, and I was like, I didn't see this. So there's Andrew Son.
What's up, sir?
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, buddy? Andrew's got a brand new computer, but we got to spend some time to get him hooked up and set up. And
yeah, tech support is my friend. And by tech support is my friend, I mean my friend Jeff is tech support.
Do we need to get you a camera for that computer? We bet we do, don't we?
Brian's already sending him one, I think.
Oh, is he really?
We can figure that out.
With that big warm-up money?
Dude, he's a high-class gentleman.
That's cool. I didn't know he was doing that. Anyway.
Eric, you're not going live tonight, buddy? I would think y'all would be playing something tonight.
I don't think he's not a Saturday night guy, is he? He's a Sunday and Monday dude, or Sunday and something else. Monday?
They would have been playing tonight.
I think Saturday's no, I don't know. Yeah, so it's been a good. Hope everyone appreciate everyone hopping on and hearing us chat about BCS, Napoleonics.
Yeah. BCS is a keeper, guys. I'm just saying straight out, if you've got a copy of it, play the damn game, because if you like maneuver warfare and having to use granted, we use our brains with everything we play, I'm sure, but really having to put some thought process even before you move one stinking little counter, it's a good system to do that with. So I'll tell you, it's of all the World War II games that I've got, and you know how much I love EFS. This one here is at the top of my charts. So I love it.
That's a different scale, though. Yeah, it's hard to compare those two.
Right.
McMurray, you need to connect with Nordic on tech support for 3D printing. I mean, so could Jeff. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's Battle of Age of Reasons on Sundays.
Right.
La Bat on Mondays. Hey, Camp, you're playing through. Are you still going through Kernstown? Or are you done with that?
First Kernstown's done. Yep, that's all
Okay.
put to bed. And
He's playing McDowell right now.
McDowell, yeah, that's a heck of a battle. You know, if you like hiking up a mountain and fighting at the same time, you'll like that one.
You still going to be on GB on that game box for a little while? Do you think?
I will, yeah, because I want to get through the 1862 stuff, both the expansion and the core. But there's not many. In the 1862, when I looked at it, there's only like 4 or 5 battles, multiple scenarios, but there's only like 4 or 5 battles in that in there. And I got to get on to some other ones there as well within GB, and also testing Gleam 2. I've got somebody now who's lined up to test with me. So that's looking really interesting, particularly with the Burnside Bridge stuff, the cornfield stuff. That they're throwing the kitchen sink at that one, boy. That's if that one comes out, right after stepping into hell, your mind is just going to be blown away. Between
back-to-back games like that. Oh my god.
Yeah, just going to be blown away with it.
What was I going to say? God darn it! Thought just completely jumped out of my head when you made that.
But then, Blind Swords and other stuff too. Black Swan.
Mm-hmm.
Too many games, and not enough tables.
Yeah, and we've got them at so many different tiers. So many different levels of play that I mean, it's unlimited, and there's just and they're not done. I mean, there's okay, I know what it was. All right. So first off, I want to go back to Mark's comment here. The apples and oranges things. Yeah, well, so Mark, after I emailed you last weekend and you responded back to me, that sort of jarred a lot of things in my thought process of while I'm playing that game. And now that I'm playing a maneuver scenario, I'm starting to see the picture here. So, okay, so somebody posted in I think it was one of the streams or one of the gameplay videos on YouTube. They were and I know Chuck plays it, and somebody asked me about Worthington's ACW brigade system, brigade game. Okay, well, you all know where I went on. I'm not going to. I'll never say it's a bad game, because the game components are phenomenal. Okay, it's very easy play. I wasn't getting anything out of it because I didn't see the objective in the game. To me, all right, could have been totally wrong, but I didn't see it. But somebody popped a very veteran player of other games. Popped a question on the other night about that with his son wanting to learn how to play. And let me tell you something. If you want to learn how to play ACW, that system's fine. That's actually a good intro system. That is more, I mean, would you call that, I guess we call that tactical? Because you're right into
brigade.
The fight. Yeah.
So I think it's on the par of like a blue and a gray type of thing, just different mechanics. for it. But yeah, it's definitely could be an intro,
Right.
to the system.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would work pretty good. So, I mean, if somebody wanted to get into ACW at a light scale like it, the Rebel Fury one is also another one. If you wanted to get into something simple with a little bit of maneuverability in here, that would be a good.
Yeah. I was going to say there's more maneuverability and there's a little bit more complexity with strategy, but in terms of rules simplicity, I think Mark's done a good job with the simplicity of the rules.
Good point, Mark. Unit facing makes tactical. I agree. I'm not going to lie, he's right about that. Some World War II systems pull it off without being a problem, but I agree 100%. I don't know. So what? All right. So Todd, since you haven't played a game in like 6 or 7 months now,
Stop! I just played ASL on Wednesday.
we don't count that because you didn't play with us.
Okay.
All right. So what are we going to do next? I mean, I know what Camp and I are going to do. We got to work it out, but I know what we're going to do.
What are you going to do?
Well, I was chit-chatting with him about some blind sword stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm supposed to start. Well, you're not going to care about this because it's not with you again. So I'm going to start a Holland 44 game with a local dude, Jerry. Sorry.
You going to film any of it? Now, are you saying Jerry to meaning a slang term for the Germans or Jerry a buddy?
Jerry a person. Jerry G. Well, I was going to say Gerry, but that's how you spell Jerry. Yeah, that's funny. So that I'll be playing that, and I'm in that Pathfinder campaign now because I'm a big role player.
Yeah. Well, we want to talk about somebody else that just bought the starter.
Oh yeah, nerd.
No. I was lying. I was trying to make you feel like I was part of the gang.
Uh-huh.
No, I did. I got on War Game Vault the other night, and I bought the D&D 5th edition, the first 4 volumes of their solo, because I remember I never really played D&D with the groups. I think I tried it once or twice, wasn't my thing. But I remember playing. Remember the little magazine books you used to open up? And you could play the solo adventures in D&D many years ago, and I didn't think they made them anymore. I'm still playing the first day of that, Mark. But I did. I bought that D&D thing, and eventually I'm going to get around. But I got to figure out how to get the freaking 5th edition rules without paying an arm and a leg to get them.
You're playing D&D now, Jeff?
I have not played it.
Don't let Andrew intimidate you. The guy Andrew plays a billion different things. He just doesn't play that one.
Who's getting into intimidation? I asked if he's playing D&D now.
Mm-hmm.
I heard all my miniatures just
oozes contempt and judgment.
At least he's not playing Pathfinder 2 nights a week.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. I mean, you could be playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's so much more nerdy.
Wait. I need to get the 5th edition. I kind of thought it came with that package, but apparently it doesn't. So
what I need to do for the rest of the year is I have counting sessions played of ASL, GTS, and GCACW, and I got it. The ASL's happening, but they got to get the GC and the GTS back on the table.
Look at all these comments now about D&D and Pathfinder.
There you go.
Exactly. It's because we're a bunch of...
See, you'll notice that all of the games Todd is really excited about and is planning to play are all games that he doesn't play with me.
Oh man.
Hey, Mark, has Mo reached out to you yet about our plan for you and Herman? I'm waiting for Mo to set it up.
What do you guys talk about with cool blind sword stuff? That sounds awesome.
But we're talking about maybe Camp and I kicking off some Vassal play with that.
Nice.
So
that'll be badass. It's a wonderful system.
Yeah, we're gonna...
He and Camper start playing. I'll free up my Saturdays to play with you, McMurray.
Oh, there you go. That'll be cool. I'd love to play. I love playing games with you.
Mark, we're gonna try. We want to try to drag you and Herman in together in a chat one night. I think Mo's trying to get himself familiar with Rocket Chickamauga first, but I brought it up at our last little get together, and we want to give you all a good rundown. Yeah, I know
Bane-
y'all done a couple of things already, but we want to give you the big time.
Bane, remember when we played D&D on the old channel, and everybody was like real insistent that we role play and stuff, and then I had a character whose intelligence was like 6, and everybody got real mad when I role played it.
Yeah, some people will get. Yeah, that's funny. You mentioned that.
Who's in that
It was
picture
like-
up there? Can anybody tell?
What'd you say?
That'd be cool. Look at that. I'm sorry, I'm getting off that. That'd be cool to.
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
Oh wait,
we're
I don't really know.
both of them in. He's pulling you.
It's so confusing with the first and
Holy
last.
smokes, he just
Yeah, I
hit
was
me.
gonna
That's
say
Mark
that.
Herman. Jesus. We're not worthy.
Yeah, we don't mess
We're
around,
not
McMurray.
worthy.
We bring in the big dogs to our
I
audience.
see that. I
Yeah,
see
I'm just
that.
waiting on Mo to get. He's trying to get himself familiar with something, but I recommended we need to drag both of them in there and talk about some of this stuff because all those other people have done their little interviews with them, but that's just ticky tack stuff. We want to give them the big to dos. So
Tell him
That's a
because
hard
Todd's like
question.
75 years old. He's always stiff. He wakes up stiff.
well, good. Look, okay, BCS, good. I wish we could have done gameplay examples and stuff, but it's been a while since I played. I'm playing it again now. I'd love to see Todd find his interest in that. So you're so full of shit, Mark. I'd like to see Todd play that again because there's so many nice little small scenarios that you can get around in with that. And with now, so look, so we got Camp on here with us now. All right, he dabbles with blind swords and he dabbles GBACW. We got Todd sort of messing around now in GBACW, and he the ASL thing he loves. We got Ross, who was big time ASL, and now he's big time GBACW, and McMurray, who has now messed around with Black Swan and blind swords. We're starting to build a great little caravan that touches multiple environments. The problem is with poor old Andrew here. He's being Mr. Super Cop in St. Louis. His timetable is just not as available as everybody
It'll
else.
slow down. It slows down in the wintertime.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think that would be good. Like you and I were playing. I think it'd be good if you two played a blind sword game.
Well, and I'm thinking too, Camp. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Was Stonewall's sword was Cedar
Mountain.
Cedar what?
Cedar Mountain.
Yeah. Is that maybe we should just start right with that one?
We'll start with that one. I mean, we talked about doing it sequentially there.
Yeah,
We
sequentially
could, but depends on what you want to do. I mean, all of them, I think, once you know the system, you can just jump into all of them pretty quickly. The only tougher ones, and it's not that tough if you know the system, is the later ones here that they've got a lot more special rules. But that's not hard. You spend an hour reading the exclusive rules and you're off and going.
Right. Mark, best game ever. That's the game that got me hooked. Best game ever.
Yep.
That Jeff has been consistent since I've known him. He's gone back and forth on OCS and East Front, and
Remember when we did my Gettysburg
BCS.
My Gettysburg top 10? It was still my number one because
There's a
TSS?
reason he's had me find him like 4 copies of TSS
yes,
over the years. It's pretty outstanding. It's a good game.
Everybody knows TSS. Everybody knows where they are when they've played TSS. I posted so I found something the other day. I picked up some old magazines and found an ad for Terrible Swiss Sword coming out. It was about a year before it was coming out, or 6 months, give or take, whatever it is. And there was all hype about it. And I posted something out about it. And everybody was like, "Oh yeah, I remember TCS playing this and playing that, playing this." Everybody you talk to, everybody's got a story about TCS.
so it's easy to think now that we play GBACW that, I mean, shoot, it's a no-brainer to go back and be able to play TSS because now, Mark, you test played the SPI version. I'm sure that's what you're referring to, not the one that I never played, and I have it I never played the TSR version of it. I really want to because I know there was a lot of changes in it. But I mean, come on, man. SPI's TSS is just it's the failsafe of gaming in my opinion. I mean, it's the granddaddy to me. I know I argued one night with Stigler that's what was the original. What was the first GBACW the SPI created? It wasn't TSS. I mean, wasn't that the one they released first? But was it the Kernstown one? What was the first one?
Oh, that's pretty awesome. A young 19-year-old Mark Herman playing with Berg.
Oh, Richard Berg. I tell you another one that's nobody talks about it. And I've got all three of them. Is when Berg did the SDI, the 3 SDI games with the turn continuation table. Now, if you want painfully long play, that's the system you want. But I'm going to tell you what, I think it's fun. I think the SDI games were awesome. So that was definitely, okay, technically the first in the TSS series. Okay, that's what I kind of thought that. But did they didn't release that though before TSS, did they? Wasn't TSS first? Yeah, you can never go wrong with Turbo Steel Sword. I love the map. The counters were simple enough to deal with, and then I think the game got better to me when somebody finally applied their morale table instead of using their strength number. So, okay, cool. Yeah. When somebody put in the A, B, C, D, E morale table to roll for units and listed them in on the little charts you had for their strength, I think that made that game that much better. When the Iron Brigade was at A and you had to roll 6 twice to make them freaking rout. So,
if they ever did.
Yeah, if they ever did, right? Good point. You could reduce all their regiments down to freaking 1. You still couldn't chase
that was pretty much how he had to eliminate that. I remember. I think they were still hanging on middle of day 2.
I don't know
on
how
McPherson's Ridge.
Brian, somebody. I think I still have two copies of the Stonewall around here somewhere, or I may have sent one to somebody. I can't remember. I was trying to sort through all those a couple weeks ago, and I have so many copies of Blood. I have 3 copies of Bloody April, and 4 Terrible Swift Swords, 2 War Between the States. Thanks to McMurray who found those for me.
Hell yeah.
He's done so. McMurray's he's been so good. My Rocket Chickamauga was thanks to McMurray.
Hell yeah. That was a fun surprise that then turned into, damn it.
Well, yeah. So there's a good question.
It worked out okay.
The Iron Brigade wasn't really the Iron Brigade for a very long period of time.
No.
I mean, from what I understand, everything up until just before Gettysburg, they weren't really that darn super, from what I remember. Where did they get their name, and what was the reason?
Well, yeah, they got their name because they stood up there and got shot and killed. You know, if you look at all the named brigades, the reason why they got their name was because most of them were killed in battle,
right?
Or, heavily wounded in battle and everything like that. They didn't make it much past there. A lot of the veterans were parsed out or regrouped into other units. In fact, I was just reading about some that became artillerymen at Cold Harbor.
Oh, what a bloody nightmare! Grant's biggest regret, I guess, would be that one.
Yeah.
Greg from Saskatchewan. Ray, how you doing, buddy? Look, I just saw South Mountain and Second Manassas. Which one is it? Second Manassas with the fight for Brawlers. Really, Grim?
Yeah, that's where it started, and then it was reinforced at South Mountain.
Yeah, so I mean, and then in March they got brittle in 1860. Who was it? What corps was it that eventually it just dissipated and they didn't restructure it? It just was it Third Corps? Was it Sickles' Third Corps?
Yeah. Yep, Third Corps. Right after Gettysburg, that pretty much. Well, French took over after Sickles was wounded, and they stuck around there for the fall. But eventually that was absorbed into Second Corps.
I tell you what I want. Somebody can recommend me. And if you love Hexy that much in his Civil War knowledge and playthroughs, you can buy it for me and send it to me. I want to read a good book, and some of y'all are going to laugh about this. I want a good book because I think, oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, because I think he gets bad ratings. I want to read something good on Burnside. I'm not fond of him, but I think there's some things that he did during the war that were phenomenal.
Read about Knoxville and his battle with Longstreet.
Yeah, well, I think Longstreet's an idiot, and I always thought Longstreet was an idiot. Sorry. I'm just not fond of him. I mean, I tell you what it is. It's that stupid statue they put up there on freaking Warfield Ridge. Why couldn't they have made him a big one like everybody else? I see that little statue and I laugh every time I see the damn thing.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, that's a whole other story. I mean, we could spend a whole other night then on that.
Yeah. We have a show about Longstreet. So
yeah, exactly. Could do everything on that. So,
but I want to know more about Burnside because I think he's the one person personally at Antietam. I think he did a phenomenal job when he finally got the go at Antietam because I mean, he got across that damn bridge. He was pushing on freaking Sharpsburg until AP Hill shows up. There's another person that I think is just another person I think I want to read about is Dick Ewell because I don't get it. How did we just lose Camp or did we lose Andrew?
I'm here.
Oh, I think Camp disconnected. You probably hit the wrong button. I want to read about Dick Ewell because I don't understand how Ewell, he did an ass-kicking job on the way to Gettysburg with all the fights around Winchester, some of the stuff that we went and saw. And then he gets to Gettysburg and he just nothing. AP Hill, another one. I think AP Hill was sick half the time anyhow.
Jeff, did you see the Mark's comment here?
Rowena Reed writes well of Burnside due to his early war MP. Yeah, because his stuff in North Carolina, I think, didn't he do some phenomenal stuff in North Carolina? He was all over the place. I mean, usually when a Southern general was sent out of the Army of Northern Virginia to the West, it's because Lee didn't want him around. So, I wonder if we're getting these storms up that way. Camp's up on the coast up in somewhere up northeast. Let's see. All generals in the Civil War. Let's see. All generals in the Civil War to include Lee had good days and bad days. Yeah, I agree. But the main issue is it was easier to defend than attack. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Burnside knew his limits, but so explain Fredericksburg to me. Why everything I see about him in Fredericksburg was he made a bad decision, decided to do it. Was he not pushed by Lincoln?
There we go.
Was it everybody pushed by Lincoln? I mean, come on. Let's see. Yeah, William. And I like to know more. You don't hear enough about it. I mean, down there, what he did in North Carolina. So, AP Hill was ill most of the time after 1862. Yeah, he always wasn't AP Hill. Didn't he? Didn't he pick up a venereal disease?
Excuse me?
At West Point?
Yes.
Did he carry for the rest of his life?
I knew Andrew would know about that.
I believe he got tossed out of West Point for that.
That's hilarious.
I want to say that caused command friction between he and Stonewall Jackson, didn't it? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
What? No, that was That was Dick Garnett, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Didn't Jackson want Garnett court-martialed or whatever and locked up for? And he would, because somebody did a documentary they were talking about. So he wanted to redeem, because I don't think anybody had great regard for him. And I want to say that at Gettysburg, he was trying to was it Gettysburg maybe or somewhere else? He was trying to redeem that. So another person that I think should have pulled it off was Hooker at Chancellorsville, before Chancellorsville happened. Okay, here we go. Let's give old Dan Sickles another pat on the back, because it wasn't old Dan Sickles that saw Jackson making his flank march and wanted to go do something about it, and they told him no.
I thought it was Ollie Howard, but yeah.
No, Howard's the one that caught the brunt of it on the right side of the
Yeah, I know that.
You're muted. No, your mic's not working, Cam. I agree, William. He did. Look at the discussions we get into. When we started with BCS, and look at this road we've gone down, there's still 30 people on here. So, yeah, Jackson had a problem with Garnett. Yeah, that's what I thought. He did. Yeah, because wasn't Garnett in control at one of the battles he had the Stonewall Brigade? And I remember what it was. They ran out of ammo when he pulled them off, and Jackson was not happy about that. One of those battles in the valley.
There we go. You hear me now?
Yep. Gotcha.
Sorry about that. My headset died.
Did you forget to feed your internet gerbils?
My headset died.
Oh, okay.
Talking too long.
All right, we've been kicking this around over 2 hours now. Always great conversation. Always appreciate all you guys getting on here and throwing little tidbits of information at us. Love it. Mark, appreciate you popping on here tonight. Alan, thanks, dude. You're going to start becoming a regular appearance on the show.
Yeah, I drop in once in a while when you send me a link.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. It's always nice to hear someone different besides the three of us on here. So
drop down in the Virginia, Pennsylvania area once in a while too.
Yep. Get us a bacon cheeseburger here and there, and
want to go out in the valley. Yeah, take them out in the valley. I want to go to Winchester and all over those places.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you've been playing that, go. So have you been to any of those, Winchester or Kernstown?
I have, but it's been many, many years, and there's more that I wanna go see.
Yeah.
So
as long as you promise not to freaking walk me to death in the heat of summer like these two guys.
Nah.
Out loud. This dickhead will go play golf.
I ride in a cart.
And for Christ's sakes. Disregard.
So yeah, appreciate all you guys showing up in chat tonight. Like I say, I love the input. This is stuff that I don't get to hear a lot of times unless I get in a conversation with one of these guys, and just to hear some of you the different perspectives from you guys all around the United States and tell us what's going on, and picking up these little bits of information. I do want to say that if anybody's got some BCS stuff and you decide to get it on the table, fire back at me. The email is in on the YouTube channel. Let me know what you think. If you got some tidbits or information, you guys can find me on Facebook or on the YouTube stuff. Send me an email, send me a message or something, and let me know what you've learned about BCS or what you figured out or whether you enjoyed it or not. And I think with that, we're going to kill this thing. Again, thanks, everybody. I hope everybody has a great gaming day tomorrow while you're watching football. And don't forget, hockey season's in session now. Best sport ever, right?
Oh, jeez.
All right, we'll see y'all later. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.